A great man once said that education is about inspiring one's mind and not just filling their heads. As students, our role is to listen to the lessons our teachers give us, write tests, write quizzes, write exams, do our homework, and do persuasive speeches. At the end of it all, we receive a grade that will vary depending on the quality of the work we hand in. And the main reason why I'm standing up here is because I'm questioning those grades. I'm questioning the 58% I got on the project that I worked so hard for. The 61% I got on the tests I studied so much for, and even the 97% I got on the oral presentation that I did the night before it was due, copy-pasting my way through Wikipedia, and patching up a sorry excuse for a poster in 15 minutes. Okay, if I can get a 97% by doing that, and I can't get a passing mark by actually studying, then I think it's fair to say that something's wrong with the grading system, because the very foundation of school is learning. And a great man once said that if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. And it's funny because at the end of the day, society still pressures you into getting good grades, until all you're at school for is good grades. And it's funny because we blame society, but we are society. Most of us here aren't students sitting in class for the love of knowledge. Students aren't like that in North America. We don't realize that knowledge is power. And a teacher that came from Africa once said this. I was a teacher in Nigeria, and I had 41 students in my classroom. Most of my students had no clothes, no food, no shoes, no nothing. But they wanted to learn. They showed up every day wanting to learn. And when I told my colleagues that I was going to teach in America, they told me, don't do it. The students there don't want to learn. They will scream all during class. And in a way, they were right. My classrooms in America were much different than my classrooms in Nigeria. There were fewer students, more resources, but there wasn't the same desire to learn. I've had to learn to teach motivation, and I found that the only way I can do that is to show it in myself. I try to teach each child as if it were my own. And if I show up each day trying my hardest, and the students see that, then a lot of the time, most of the time, they will respond by increasing their own effort. Now, some of you may say that although grading is inaccurate, it remains the only known and common way to measure intelligence. Although this may be true, I cannot believe that we as a society can't find another way to measure intelligence. Perhaps we could show them a field that interests them and evaluate their intelligence and effort with other things. If we judge a student in a field that they are successful in, they will have an entirely different outlook on education and perhaps even grow a passion for it. Albert Einstein is a perfect example. He was doing poorly in school, and in fact, he even dropped out. But his strength was his imagination. Schools don't give good grades for imagination, unfortunately, and it's as if our minds are caged and forced to swallow math equations, historical dates, facts, and half of which we'll forget right after the exam. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Malcolm X, Mother Teresa, Henry Ford, Mark Zuckerberg, William Shakespeare, and Abraham Lincoln are all names that will forever go down in history. Yet they're all names that have not been entirely successful in education. It is impossible not to fail at something, and all of these names has failed at something at one point in their life. Winston Churchill once said that success consists from going to failure without losing enthusiasm. And so I might not have changed the entire school system or started a reform by making a persuasive speech about this, but at least now you know. Now you can sit in a classroom and know that school doesn't decide your future. You do. Thank you.